Alright, so yesterday we had the recall done, which for what I believe is the Cummins emissions disaster. So far, drove it home from work yesterday, everything seemed fine. Drove it to and from work today, got 18.8 miles to the gallon for that 100-mile round trip, which is absolutely normal. Everything feels good, so I think since I can, I just slap my trailer on it, put my tractor up there. Now this is a Mahindra 2638 HST cab, and I've got the loader and a finish mower on it. I'm thinking that's probably in the range of 6,000 pounds-ish. The trailer's about 2,200, so we're 8,000, 8,500, maybe 9,000 pounds at the max back here. The truck as it sits with my extra tank and the ramps for the side-by-side and all that other junk is right at about 9,500. She's a heavy pig. But yeah, we're going to go take this thing for a rip, probably do a few miles, and see what it tows like now that we've got the, what I think is the emissions correction. Like I said, so far I've noticed zero difference. None whatsoever. Drives exactly the same. For reference, the truck is a 2017 Ram 3500 dually, four-wheel drive, 410 gears, and it's the HO, so it has the Aisin transmission, which is a horrible shifting transmission, but it's stout. So we're going to go slap this thing in tow haul mode, get out on the road, go through some hills, drive it. I've towed this trailer with this thing on it probably 2,000–3,000 miles in the last 6 months, so I pretty much know how it tows. And yeah, we're going to see what we end up with. So far, given all the histrionics around this thing, if this is actually the fix, I haven't seen anything, but this will be a little bit of a test. I know it ain't too heavy for some of you guys, but it's as heavy as I can do right now. So let's see how it goes. Alright, there we go, 55,343.2 miles. Got my tire pressure monitor set. Everything's looking pretty good. Exhaust brake, tow haul, drive, send it. Oh, and just for grins, there we go. We reset the fuel economy. So we're gonna get out of the neighborhood, and once we get onto a little bit more open road, we'll come back. Alright, I can tell you one thing already that the update did not do, is it did not warn me that I forgot to put the moose rack up. I couldn't see a damn thing, but now we're good. Alright, so we're approaching a Louisiana speed bump, otherwise known as a railroad grade crossing. And this will be a good place to give it a test to accelerate away from this nightmare. Oh, for God's sake. Alright, here we go. Wide open. It's building boost like it always did. That was fine. For probably 17,000, 18,000 pounds. Cruising at the speed limit. Doesn't feel any worse. So we're gonna go get it out on the highway and see how it looks. Alright, we'll show the old exhaust brake. That doesn't seem to have changed at all. That wasn't any brake application, that was just normal. Everything was perfect there. Oh yeah, that's fine. Alright, so once we get through this light, this stop sign, get it up to about 30 miles an hour, and then we're going to hammer it and see what it does. Alright. Foot down. that's reasonably acceptable to me. Saw 33, 30 on the boost. That's what I'm used to seeing. Nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, butt dyno seems fine. I'm going to be real interested when the TFL truck guys get theirs done, assuming they will, and then put it on the Ike, because they've got real data, not just butt dyno bullshit like I'm doing. But again, if I gave this truck to anybody, I think, who'd ever driven one of these, and let them drive it, they would not be able to tell anything was different or anything was wrong with it. So, yeah, we're gonna keep driving, see how it does. And granted, the fuel economy, I'm romping on it here, but once we get onto the 2-lane, I'm just gonna set the cruise at 65 like I normally tow this thing, and we're gonna see how she goes. So, we'll see what we end up with. All right, so we have hit the highway, basically. Got the cruise set at 65. And a little bit of traffic, but not major. I'm hoping this guy will start moving. But everything seems fine. It still has that little engine drone at 65 like it always has. This is what I love about the 410 gears, though. You can see it runs right at torque peak at 65 miles an hour. It's fantastic. This thing hardly ever has to downshift, which is great with this with the 410s. Now, you don't want to do much over 70 because, yeah, you're cranking 2,000 plus. But, you know, for normal towing and everyday driving, no issue at all. Yeah, so honestly, if this is the update that they're going to do to get in compliance with the feds, so far, this is, you know, if this really is it, if they don't have to come out with something else that derates everything, if this update is truly it, and it seems like it is because of the way the form was worded and the coincidental timing that it came out a week after they had the big settlement announcement. But if this is it, this is one of those things where it's an example of corporate suicide, because I noticed no difference. I would not have not bought this truck if it were legal. I mean, what? I don't get it. So we're gonna keep going. We got probably another 70 miles to go before we hit the big hill, and then we'll see what it does. But so far, I mean, it's a nothing. This is no different. I noticed no difference at all towing this. It's just as smooth as it ever was. Everything's fine. Boost like it always did. It's got all the damn throttle lag that it always did, but it's no worse or no better. Everything's the same. So, we'll see. Alrighty. Well, we have made it to Doloroso, Mississippi. It is extremely dark out, because this is a lonely stretch of 61. And we just came down the Doloroso Hill, which is what I call it. I don't know if anybody else calls it that. But it's the longest minor grade that we have in the local area. So we're going to get this thing, there's not going to be a lot to see, but we're going to get this thing up to 65 again, set the cruise, and see what it does. So far, all the temperatures look perfect, no difference. Alright, there we go. We're set at 65, and once we get across this little bridge, I don't think we're going to be able to get everything in frame, but once we get across this bridge, we'll start the uphill about where that car is in front of us. And we'll see. This thing hasn't downshifted once out of 6th as we've been cruising on the way up here. So I expect it's going to downshift on this hill because it usually does. But again, I see nothing different pre to post anything. All right, so the hill starts right about here. Let's see what we got. It's not much of a hill. You know, it's got that first little up section and then a down section a little bit here. And then it starts up again. This will be tough because it was just coming off boost. It's probably going to downshift right here. It usually gets up to about 28 psi and it'll downshift. I'll be darned it didn't. Huh. Is it going to pull this thing in sixth? Look at that. We're still going up. I mean, if this is really the update to put it in compliance, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen a corporation do. Alright, now we're coming up to a little flat section again. No big issue. Obviously, everything's running good. Let's check temperatures. Nothing. Normal. Totally normal. We got a little bit of a downhill, and then it'll go back up a little bit. This is the hill, or that was the hill that caused me to put an engine oil cooler on my half-ton 5.7 when I was towing my 10,000-pound travel trailer with it, because the engine oil would get up to like 240 going up that hill at screaming at 5,000 RPM to maintain 60. And this thing has never had an issue. You can see where that car is up there. That's where the next uphill section is. Alright, going into the uphill. Like nothing. No difference. Absolutely no difference whatsoever. Certainly nothing discernible. I'm really looking forward to the TFL truck guys doing this on the Ike so they can compare their pre and post towing the trailer up that hill with the new software. Because to me, there's no difference. Absolutely no difference. Now, the DEF is going down, but it always goes down when I'm towing. Because right now we're getting, let's see, since we're over the hill, let's check fuel economy on the Liometer. Yeah, we've got about 11.4 since I left the house, and that's with several full throttle romps. Again, that's normal, I would say, for towing this trailer. I get 11. That's what it does. So this is normal. No difference at all. Well, that was uneventful. All right. So we're going to cruise our way back home and wrap this thing up. But yeah, I don't know what the fuss is about. All right, we're back home. 11.7 miles to the gallon. 55,463.9, probably about, I don't know, 140 mile round trip, towing my trailer, and no issues. So, that ain't gonna work. Let's try that. There we go. So, I don't know what to think. If this is really the emissions update that I had done yesterday that is taking care of the Cummins debacle, this is a nothing burger, in my opinion. I mean, there is nothing here. If they had done this without telling me, I would not know anything changed. Period. Would not know it. From the butt dyno and towing and the fuel economy. And, I mean, it may be using a smidge more DEF, but that's subjective as well because I've never measured how much it uses. I know it uses more when I'm towing. It uses less when I'm not, just because it's per gallon of diesel that it basically goes through. So maybe they increased that. I don't know. Nothing different, in my opinion, on this truck. So I'm going to keep up with it. I'm certainly going to keep up with the news regarding what the hell they did to end up here. But I don't know. If this is it, this is the dumbest thing any corporation has ever done. I mean, I've heard that the old 3-liter eco-diesel pieces of garbage, and then the Volkswagens, when they were updated, they were dogs. It made a difference. If this is it, you pissed away $1.75 billion for this? I want to know why. These people need to be fired. They need to have all of the money that they've ever been paid by this corporation taken back from them. It's ridiculous if this is really it. Who knows? Maybe there's going to be another update coming out. Maybe it was just a coincidence that this one came out, and I'll throw the paperwork in there. I found it online on the Fiat site. That shows the recall notice that you're going to get if you haven't already. It looks pretty damn official, and the timing is certainly coincidental if this isn't the emissions update. But I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, a lot of people probably aren't going to do it just out of, for being, emissions anything. But for right now, I ain't worried about it. Now, if they come up with another update and we do it, and then it's a pooch, okay, yeah, we'll know. But at least we've got some data from this one the day after I had it done. And it's no different. None. No difference at all. So, hey, I appreciate you all watching. If you got any comments, questions, concerns, whatever, throw them down there in the comments. I'll love to discuss this one because if this is it, what were they thinking? What was the point? What did they save? Why? I want to know, because this makes no sense if this is really it. So, I guess good. It doesn't seem like the trucks are junk after this update anyway, so I guess that's good. We'll see what they do going forward if there's any more updates related to this, but at least this one there's nothing. There's no change, in my opinion. Certainly by my butt dyno. Now maybe the TFL guys will find something out on the Ike that's different between their tests because they've got data, and maybe somebody will stick it on a dyno and say, oh, before and after, and see some data. But my butt dyno towing my trailers, no difference. Can't tell. So anyway, hope you all have a good night. Take care.